Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. We are here at EA Play, where for the last hour I have been playing FIFA 20 with Nathan. It's not really important that you know who won more of the matches. What is important is that I am joined by FIFA 20's lead gameplay producer, Sam Rivera. Sam, thank you so much for talking to us.
It's great to be here, thank you.
I've got some questions specifically about the gameplay changes that we're seeing in FIFA 20, because there are quite a few and they really do change how the game feels to play. First of all, can you take us through, you're talking about on the ball and off the ball. On the ball specifically, how have you changed the game on the ball?
On the ball, there's basically new tools for you to do new stuff when you have the ball at your feet or when you are defending. So I want to start with the new strafe dribbling.
Yes.
So we are reinventing this tool. So this year, strafe dribbling is going to be more agile and more responsive. So in a few words, I say this tool is really great to lure your opponent in. You can move laterally, you invite him in, and then when he's getting closer, you can exit on speed. You use your player's skill, agility, speed, whatever is your best trick to beat defenders. Now is the time. Why is different? Well, because we are giving you more time and space on the ball, so it's going to be less crowded around you. It's just going to be a one-on-one most of the times. That's having more one-on-ones is one of the biggest things that we're doing in FIFA 20, and giving you the tools for those one-on-ones is very important. So strafe dribbling is one, and then when you are on the defending side, it's also very important. So we are encouraging people to be more manual when defending.
Yeah.
So FIFA 19, sometimes you can just take advantage of your AI teammates, how they put pressure, and then that could be enough in some cases. Well, in FIFA 20, there's going to be less support from the teammates, and also tools like contain and secondary containment being tuned down. The target for the player to get close, if you're just containing with the X button, they are going to be the target is further. So it's not as simple, and also if the dribbler changes direction, the defender that is containing will take longer to actually adjust. So what we want is people to be manually controlling the defender, and for that we're giving you a new tool, which is the jockey and the fast jockey. We had them in the game, but this year they are a lot more agile, and they also come with some assistance that helps you stay in front of the ball. So how the assistance works is, if you are pointing towards the ball, then you are full speed for jockey. But if somehow the ball changes direction and you are not pointing towards the ball, and then you would just get away, you would overshoot basically, then we will slow you down slightly so you can stay, you don't go too far. Now when you point to the ball, now you go to the max speed of jockey. Mm-hmm. So it's just some sort of assistance, but it's not too much. It's not just containing and the system doing everything for you. That's just to stay in front. So, and then when you actually find a good space to do the tackle, then we have a new system, the control tackling system, which uses the technology from the active touch system from last year, which has a better animation selection and better calculation of how to get to the ball to ensure that you win possession back. So in FIFA 19, sometimes you tackle and the ball bounces back to the attacker. We're working in all those cases. We're giving you a better tackle animation to make sure that if you tackle in the right context properly, close to the ball, then you have definitely more chances to get the ball back. So those two together give you more a new experience in a one-on-one. Yeah. Then there is just to create. Going a little bit off the ball, to create those one-on-ones, we had to do a lot of changes in the positioning system. Players are going to spread around the pitch in a more authentic way. They stick a little bit more to their positions. The game is less crowded, and then you as a dribbler have more time and space on the ball. So now you can think, okay, I want to do this, or as a defender you can read, I think he's going to cut inside, I think he's going to keep going, and then just you're in a one-on-one, and then you find new ways to beat the defender. It's not the game is less crowded. I mentioned that, but that's very, very important. More one-on-ones.
I'm interested in why on every year when you make a new FIFA and you've got to identify the area that you want to improve this year, and obviously one-on-ones is important for you this year. Is that a response to like watching real football matches and seeing situations where a lot of the time one-on-ones have become increasingly important in the modern game? Is, you know, how do you make the decision that this year one-on-ones are a thing that we want to be focusing on?
This is a very good question. So how we do it every year is we are obviously watching real life football, and when we watch it, one of the most important, most interesting parts of football to watch is, let's say, Mbappe, and a very fast, agile winger, skillful, trying to beat a fullback that is also very agile. Let's say Mbappe and Jordi Alba. So if that moment happens and then Mbappe has the ball and then you see how he starts preparing to do something, and then you see Jordi Alba right away like trying to jockey and see what's gonna happen, that moment is just great to watch.
Yeah.
If you play the sport, that's also like, yeah, I'm gonna do it now, and then you start slowly until you find the space. So we wanted to create more of those moments because just football-wise, it's a fun moment. It's one of the most important moments, and now everything in football is about that decisive split of second where you need to, okay, it's a one-on-one, I need to either go this way or pass, or otherwise he's gonna get the ball from me. So that's one part, just by watching real life football. The other part is community feedback. So it's a combination of both. Community feedback, we know that AI defending was one of the biggest complaints that we had in FIFA 19. So with this approach of creating more one-on-ones, we're really encouraging more football behavior, like in real life, there's a lot of times a one-on-one, and also we are listening to what community wants. And even for players that are brand new to FIFA, the fact that there's just more space, a one-on-one, like is good. So you have more space, it's less crowded, you can find your ways around it. And for very hardcore players, as pro players, a one-on-one, if there's a good defender in front of me, then I need to do something skillful to beat him, otherwise he's gonna tackle me. So we feel like this approach is it makes sense for FIFA because of real life football and just because of community feedback.
And I guess in these kind of situations, how challenging is it to address that balance between, like you say, the game is slightly slower this year, so you've got more space, which increases the opportunity for these one-on-one situations. Then how do you know, I guess you've done that for gameplay reasons, you want it to feel more exciting in those moments. But then in terms of the realism, when you get a player like Mbappe or Neymar in real life, opposition teams, their tactics for those players will often be crowd him, don't let him get the ball. Like as soon as Neymar has it, 4 defenders surrounding him, stopping him from doing that creative kind of stuff that he likes to do. So how do you make those decisions when you're looking at balancing the game? Do you think to yourself, well, let's just let Neymar have a bit of space so he can have fun with his one-on-one situations, or is that kind of, you know, the tactics of the defending team, are they still important as well?
It's a balance. The tactics of the defending team are still important, but we feel like right now with the balance that we're going to have with jockey versus the dribbling. If you're Neymar, you're going to be very, very good at dribbling, straight dribbling. But if you are Jordi Alba, you will also be very agile at jockey. So right now our approach is definitely more focused on the one-on-ones.
Right.
Now it doesn't mean that you're not going to get support from your teammates. You will still get support, obviously at a certain extent, and mainly what I mean with less AI defending is on the dribbler. Defenders are still going to be marking players making runs. That has to happen. Otherwise, it's just a run, you pass, and then you're gone. They still need to mark this. You need to time when you're going to pass. But what is in a one-on-one, we feel like the tools that we're giving both to the attacker and the defender should be enough to create some fun. There should be balanced. Otherwise, the game just can be quite crowded, like sometimes would be FIFA 19.
And you've mentioned that there are all new ball physics this year. What's changed with the ball physics, and what does that allow in terms of gameplay?
That's a good question. We rewrote how the ball behaves on every player contact, on every bounce, on every two-player interaction, and how spin affects the trajectory of a ball in a pass, a shot, or a cross, or a bounce, anything. So it's just a completely different experience, and it's just more authentic. So what you will see is really, if the ball hits me, you will see how the player absorbs some of the impact and the ball bounces in a more realistic way. You will see that you do a pass that has slight elevation, then you will see how it bounces and it keeps bouncing. So so it's more realistic, like in real life football happens a lot of the times. And then if you do, this is very important, if you do a shot, let's say a finesse shot, because finesse shots have a lot of spin, then that spin is going to create a lot of curve. So maybe the shot can now go around the keeper slightly better than before because of that curve. If you do a lace shot, you may see a dipping trajectory or a rising trajectory based on how you hit it, or maybe even a knuckle trajectory. So I think just variety, there's a lot more. and the ball feels more alive, like it's a real life ball. And then what I can tell you though is that if you put together all the ball changes plus all the changes that we did in positioning and the game flow to create more one-on-ones, and then the tools that we're giving you when you actually have the ball, and then you look at the game and you compare it to real life football, it looks a lot much closer. FIFA 19, if you look at it and then you look at real life football, it's quite easy to point some things, some problems, especially in the way players move. Sometimes there's a lot of hectic movement and it's too crowded. If you look at FIFA 20, right away you feel like it's a more composed experience. Players think better what to do. You can read the game better. You can create new, more realistic ways to beat defenders. So there will still be, going back to your question, times where you can get maybe 1 or 2 players in front of you, maybe sometimes 3, but that's much more rare. And secondary contain still works, but it's not as aggressive. So it's a balance between having enough support and having very little.
And you mentioned just the combination of the positioning and also the new ball physics. And as I was playing with Nathan, I sort of felt, you've mentioned the dribblers and how important they are in one-on-ones, but when you've got like a midfield passing player, it felt like I had maybe a bit more time and space to look at my options around the pitch and pick that pass. Whereas before, often you'd feel I've got the ball, I've got to quickly get it to the next person. And that kind of, for me, I like playing football games slowly. I like getting the ball, just like looking around. If nothing's on, maybe putting it. But would you say it liberates those midfield passing players as well? 100%.
It feels so good when you get the ball and then you see somebody there, 2 options. I'm gonna dribble the ball, 1 touch. I'm gonna think again. Okay, I'm gonna pass to that guy. It's not all the time in a rush, and that just feels great. And let me tell you, so far we've had feedback from some game changers in here, and they all like that. They all feel like it's more. There's more time, and then when actually somebody on you is a one-on-one, and that really encourages manual defending, and on the attacking side just gives you more time to think what's next, and that's very enjoyable, and that's exactly the goal, one of the goals that we had for FIFA 20.
Amazing. And just finally, you've changed the aiming system on the penalties and free kicks. What especially surprised me was Nathan, who's traditionally terrible at free kicks in FIFA, had a free kick. He was playing as Liverpool, had Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he just curled an absolute peach. And I mean, I was furious, obviously, but the system works. So what can you tell us about the new aiming system for free kicks and penalties?
I can tell you it's very rewarding. It's the aiming, it's simple, but then if you really want to put a lot of curve in the shot, that's not that simple. So that's how it's supposed to be, right? The inspiration was obviously watching Messi and Ronaldo, but just Messi, just the way he takes those free kicks is just
I could watch
amazing.
endless YouTube videos of his free kicks,
with the camera behind, it's crazy. And then when we look at now what we have in FIFA 20, it's actually pretty close, and you have the control of the shot. So that's really good. So if you bring this right stick down and then you swing it up through the right, then you get right spin, which means the ball is going to curve to the left. Obviously the other way around if you go left. And then if you just bring it down and then up through the middle, then that means top spin. So it only goes up and then down, so you can go over the wall. And if you do it from bottom to top and then back down, that's going to do a knuckle shot. So you have more control on those as well. It's obviously the best type of shot would be a half side spin and half top spin to go kind of curving around and also dropping, right? So for that one, you need to go slightly through the side without touching the edges and not through the center. So it's a combination. So it's really rewarding, and also the faster you swing the stick, the more curve that your shot will have. If you go slowly, that's easier. So you need to be precise in what angle and also fast. And then that gives you the curve. And it's just very, very rewarding. And then the aiming, you probably saw it, it's just a reticle telling you where you're aiming, so it's quite simple. And it doesn't mean that where you're aiming is where the ball will go. It will go there if you don't do any spin. But if you do a spin, then the spin is going to modify the trajectory and it's going to bring it in. So that's kind of how it works. Again, all the feedback that we received so far is that it's when you get it right, it's very rewarding, because why? You swing it right and then you see that right trajectory being created, and that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's also cool that it allows you to do, and Ronaldo and Messi, you mentioned 2 very distinct styles of free kick.
Exactly.
Ronaldo's that he scored against Switzerland the other day was just straight knuckle shot into the corner, whereas Messi loves the curly. I mean, yeah.
And you have full control of those in FIFA 20. Yeah.
Amazing. And just before we go, who do you think is going to win the Premier League next season?
It's a good question. I really like Pep. So
you reckon Man City 3 in a row?
I don't really cheer specifically for a team in the EPL. I'm from Mexico, but I really like what he does, and so far right now I think Man City they're strong.
So
you
don't think Spurs have got a chance?
I like them as well, but I still feel right now like Man City is really strong team.
Yeah. Well, Sam, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Had an absolutely great time playing FIFA 20. Let us know in the comments what you think about the changes. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.